over 10 million tons of fashion textile waste are generated in this country on an annual basis. They don't even import rags to Nigeria. Who gave them the momentum to be importing rags in Nigeria? Why did I stop selling bills? Between the year of 2019 to 2021, and I think down to a bit of 2022, I was selling bills. I was not just selling bills, I was importing these bills. I was selling them wholesale, retail. I had my thrift store on Instagram called thrift.com. So this business was profitable because I made money doing this business. I've even trained people to sell bills. But it's good that when you see the light, you come back and show other people the light. Reasons why I'm doing this video. What has changed? Bills anymore. In short, selling bills is actually wrong now in my diary. I'm going to explain to you 5 reasons why I stopped selling bills and why you should too, and other things you can do instead of selling bills. So I'm not just going to call out the problem, I'm going to provide solution as a solution person that I am. In this video, I'm going to explain what's changed and what the problems are and what the solutions are. Don't forget to click your subscribe button as I share business tips, fashion tips, most especially. Have a lot of fun. More than that, you're going to learn a lot of new things. So make sure you click subscribe and follow me at Startup with Breakthrough here on my YouTube channel. Let's start. Now, between the year of 2019 and 2020, as I said, as I started doing more of thrifting business, selling bills and all of that, one of the issues I noticed is that it was a gamble business. My father always told me this, but I always just thought that he didn't like the idea of me running the business. Now, while my parents didn't like it, they also supported me, but I noticed along the line that every time I pour in bulk money into this business, I don't get my bulk money back. I just get it in pieces across board. So it was like I was throwing money into something and I was not getting the exact value. Did I make millions of naira? Yes, but that will also give you a view of how much I had invested into the business. That was number one. I was losing money. Secondly, I noticed that it was a gamble, as I said, and the gamble was that on a very good day I can buy 5 bills and these 5 bills comes out fantastic. Like, I get very good items, clean, nice, branded items. And if on a very funny day, I would buy same amount of bills, 5 bills, and when I call 5 bills, let me give you the approximate amount. A chiffon bill, as at the time I stopped buying bills, was around 250,000. Cotton bills were around 180 and 160,000. So when I'm calling 5 bills, we're talking in the tones of 700,000, 800,000, and almost 1 million naira sometimes. So imagine me using all of this money, going to the market, buy stuff, happily come back and open the bill, and I'll find trash. It's like I made an exchange of my money for paper. I go to the market, I give the vendor or I give the importer cash and I take rags back. I have very consistent moments of this losing money while doing this. And you know, aside from the money that was lost in this process, one of the key things that stood out was these items, I couldn't sell them, I couldn't give them out. So it was as if I bought rats all through and there was nothing I could do with them. I couldn't even upcycle them or even recycle them really. And when I talk about recycling, I didn't really know so much about recycling as at the time I was going through this. So it wasn't easy for me to decide how I wanted to go about making sure that I get my money back or even get a bit of money back from this. Sometimes I would throw them away, sometimes I would burn them. And I started to do my research. I have a degree in environmental management and I had done a bit of certification under sustainable fashion, but I never finished that course. So I went back. I'm like, even if I want to be in the fashion industry, I have to look for something different to do. I had to look for something brand new to do. So I just started doing a lot of research. What can I do and what's the problem? Why do they even import rags to Nigeria? Who gave them the momentum to be importing rags in Nigeria? And that was when my eyes opened to what the real problem was. There's a conversation around importation of rags to Nigeria, and guess what? I know that importation of second-hand clothes in Nigeria has always been legal, but why are we not enforcing that law in Nigeria? See, doing this research opened my eyes to a lot of things. Despite the fact that I was confused, it just opened my eyes to a lot of things. So the next step I took after the research was to finish up my sustainable fashion course online. I finished the course, I got my certification, and I decided to take on a new approach. Now there's a problem of overconsumption. Because of the overconsumption happening due to fast fashion, a lot of people are buying clothes that they don't need anymore, and they keep dumping this item. And you ask, what is fast fashion? Fast fashion items are items of low quality that are being sold or being made and sold in mass production. Like, they are being made and sold in very high quantity for people to just buy and wear to continue a certain trend. So you could see some of these clothes with Sheins, you could see some of these clothes with Fashion Nova, you could see some of these clothes with most of your popular affordable Europe brands. So there was a lot of these issues happening, and so what they do there is that you buy these items, you just wear it once, you just throw it away. Sometimes the stores do returns, and when they do those returns, they bring it back here. Now the problem is that when those stores do returns, they send them out to charity companies, goodwill companies there in the US, in the UK. When they send them there, those items are being mixed up with the charity rags item, and they are being sent to Nigeria. Now the fast fashion side might be a big problem, but the bigger issue is when it is imported into Nigeria. So when they become imported items into Nigeria, they are called thrifts, they are called akube or krika. We call them with different names. When they are being imported into Nigeria, there is now a problem in those markets where they are being sold. Due to the same gamble I always felt, when we buy items, they are not in their great quality, you're just buying racks. When people can't sell these racks, and when people can't buy these racks, they are being dumped in landfills, they are being burned, and they constitute environmental problem, causing issues and just aiding the climate change problems we already have on ground. So seeing that part of things, experiencing that part of things, I knew firsthand that there's a solution around this thing. And instead of being part of the problem, as I've always been, because I can't say, oh, I wasn't part of the problem, I was. But instead of being part of the problem, I decided to be part of the solution. Reasons why I decided to divert into doing something else. So what I currently do now that is different from what we do before is that we don't collect imported items, right? We don't sell imported thrifts anymore. What we do at this point now is that we sell pre-loved items that have been collected from people who live here in Nigeria. The idea of collecting these pre-loved items is to also just keep pushing the idea about items being worn for a longer time, making sure that items that are in existence are being used for a longer time. More than that, is to also encourage local consumption of our items. We keep screaming made in Nigeria, made in Nigeria, made in Nigeria, and we forget that when we talk about made in Nigeria in fashion, we're talking about fashion items that people don't even wear for long. You have the Asheri pandemic, where people would spend money, spend fabric to store one style of clothes for a particular event, and after that event they don't wear the item anymore. So we have those things going on, and the question is, made in Nigerian fashion items that are being produced, right, when people don't need them anymore, do we have recycle places where they are sent to? Do we have charity homes where they are sent to? Do we have collection places where they are sent to? Or we go through the same route of buy clothes, wear them once, and dump them? So the work we do now at Closet Sales solves this problem. We become the marketplace where people send these items to for either resale, upcycling, or recycling. Now when I talk about resale, if you've not used the item before, they are in good condition and you don't want to use them anymore, you can send it to us. We value it, resell them, pay you a certain percentage. On the upcycling end, if the items cannot be resold but they are still in great condition but it can't be given to charity, the next thing we do is that we find a way of turning it into another item. So you can see us turn jean trousers into skirts, turn tops into tote bags, just the same way your mom would have taken an old clothes and turn it into a rag that you use at home. Same analogy, just that the end products are different. Now on the recycling part, we take these items to companies who shred them and use them for other purposes. They can be used for experiments, they can be used for carpentry stuff, they can be used for insulation, a lot of things. But now you can see that the goal of what we do now minimizes the generated fashion waste within the country. That's number one. Secondly, we are now building a supply chain for managing textile waste. So there is a place where each of these items goes to, and they don't just go to waste. They don't end up in landfills, they are not burnt. They are used in fulfilling other important purposes. And we can talk about social impact. Now, it's not everybody that can afford a new dress. So by doing what we do now, it makes sure that people who cannot afford the new dresses, they can actually afford the pre-loved items. And we're not talking about pre-loved Zara clothes. No, we're talking about our own Nigerian brands. We have sold Zafans and Co. We have sold Daisy Styles. We've sold a lot of made in Nigerian clothes. So it actually makes it more affordable for people who love these designs but they can't afford it at the original price. They buy it at the lower price. And for clothes that you don't want to give to charity and all of that, we find other ways of using it. By doing this, have tried to solve the initial problem and disconstructed the ideology around when you buy clothes and you don't want to wear them anymore, you just throw them away, because that is not how things work. So along the line on Closet Sales, other things we have done is to launch a declutter kit for people to understand the essence of circular fashion, circular economy. In my video under the future of fashion, I'm going to be dropping a lot of conversation on that. So if you click on that link, by next week you will have that video and you can watch it. So if you're a fashion entrepreneur looking for how to enter into the fashion space, or even looking for how to just find your way as a fashion entrepreneur already in the fashion space, looking for something new to do, or looking for how to plan your company operations in the next 5 years, all of those conversations will be on my video on the future of fashion. So make sure you watch it. So you can see now how I moved from being the problem, buying bills, buying those second-hand items that are imported, to now solving the real problem, ensuring that the items that are being produced in Nigeria, the waste that we generate within Nigeria is being solved. Because let me tell you, over 10 million tons of fashion textile waste are generated in this country on an annual basis. The reasons why we have landfills, dustbins that don't ever decompose, is because of the plastic in those landfills. It's because of the textiles. And when I'm talking about textiles, you can know that most of the textiles we use in 2023 and beyond are artificial textiles, polyesters. They don't decay. They will be there for years. They don't decay. They occupy the land we don't even have. Right? So the idea is to be part of the solution, and what we're doing is not just based on because I think it's a real problem that needs to be solved. It's a global issue. This issue is happening in the European countries, reasons why they're even exporting them and making a business out of it. It's a global issue, and it is even part of the conversations that are covered in the SDG goals. So it is covered under the SDG 12, under sustainable consumption and other parts of the goals, partnership for goals, climate actions and all of that. So I'll be breaking down a lot of these conversations that I'm having now on the future of fashion video. But I just want you to understand that if you are like me, who was a thrift vendor, you buy bills, you open bills and all of that, you're not in the wrong business. The only problem is that you're getting supplies from the wrong source. So you may have to change your supply. We offer vendors the opportunity to come to the store, pick what they like, and just be able to buy something from the store and still resell them. So you can still run your thrift business, but in a more sustainable way. Just change your suppliers. Stop the whole bill conversation. We are not in that place where I can say we have to stop buying bills entirely, but it's one step at a time. If you're a thrift vendor who is watching this video, you can reach out to us on Closet Sales. You can check up our numbers, you can check our website for more information on how you can solve thrifted and quality items from Closet Sales. Now make sure you watch my next video on the future of fashion, where I'll be breaking down more of this conversation. See you on the next one.